See if it's working. There we go. A brief synopsis of the case. So we have the was it NPHL or something like that? The Players Association.
Yeah.
Maybe. And so they're trying to negotiate a new contract for salaries and stuff for the players. And this is in the 2004-2005 year, and they are stuck. There's nothing that they want to agree on at first. And the season starts, but it doesn't actually start because they cancel it. But the time for the season starts. They go all the way through it, and the entire season doesn't happen because they're just kind of in a gridlock. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So what do you see as the root cause of the problems identified in this case?
A little bit of greed. From both sides, I think. You know, they want more money. They want to keep their money. You know, both sides kind of, I think, struggled with that a little bit.
Definitely.
They had a bad relationship going into it. They were both at each other's throats, unwilling to work with each other. I mean, for the two lead negotiators not to even show up when they're supposed to meet, that doesn't bode well for the negotiations.
No, it doesn't.
Wasn't for y'all. Can y'all hear me?
There you are.
Okay.
We couldn't when you got
My
going.
goodness.
Michael, it might help if you cut your video feed.
Whatsoever. So y'all know from BATNA and a ZOPA. So what are the best ways to strengthen a BATNA? That is.
Best way to straighten a BATNA.
Yeah. So
I don't know if there's a good way to strengthen it or not. I don't like the BATNAs just in general.
Yeah, missed all of that because we were breaking up so bad.
I know. Did it drop you guys out of the call?
But
No, just you.
Weird.
But it still shows you here.
Yeah, it shows you here twice.
Okay. Alrighty.
There it goes. Now it dropped.
So anyway, a BATNA is the best negotiated agreement. The way to strengthen a BATNA would be just to kind of do if we can't come to a conclusion or we can't come to an agreement.
Yeah.
So the best way usually seek other opportunities, I would think. like for instance, if you're doing a job, like you're asking your boss for a raise, and your BATNA would be that, you know, you could go get another job, and to strengthen your BATNA, you could a job offering you the amount of money you want, and then take that to your boss and say, okay, look, negotiate. If nothing works out, you can say, well, I got this other job anyway. So you can strengthen your back and seeking out alternatives.
Yeah.
You're cutting out so much, Mike. I have a hard time.
Mike?
We'll be quick.
Mike, if you turn off the video of so your camera's off, it'll broaden the band width for your audio.
So just do cameras?
Yeah, that helped a lot. You turned off your camera.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Well, if it makes it easier, that's fine.
I mean, that's what we've had to do some other times with other groups. So we've had to turn off the cameras because it was
bad connection.
Yeah, the video feed takes too much bandwidth.
Well, this is kind of cool anyway, because now I'm some disembodied voice. I'm like oh. All right. What barriers? So in this specific case, between the NHL and the NHLPA, what kind of barriers would you be seeking to try and remove, like to help negotiations move along?
Well, the main one is their trust. Their lack of trust is their biggest barrier.
I agree with that. I think some other psychological barriers, like we said before, there's no willing to compromise. Neither one would budge. Neither one would, it's like they're kind of 2-year-olds stomping their feet like, I will get my way. No, I will get my way. Like, there was no compromise. There's no meeting in the middle. Like, I just don't know how you ever form a deal with having those type of barriers.
No. A couple of 2-year-olds fighting over a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
neither one will win.
Yeah. Just a big mess.
Yeah, I think how much they were unwilling. Okay, let's move on. So if you were part of the NHLP, what would you do to try and resolve the situation on that side?
Well, like I said before, find a way to compromise. Like somebody has to make a sacrifice. And obviously there needs to be sacrifices on both sides in order to come to an agreement. Like I did notice, I think towards the end of the case, there was a couple players who said they wouldn't mind having a salary cap. So I think that's a sort of compromise, is to at least agreeing to a salary cap, and then they can negotiate numbers.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a really good point. Like the paper showed, like the NHL had a huge percentage of its revenues going to player salaries already. which is strange because, I'm sure the NHL doesn't make as much as, the NFL or NBA.
No,
So,
not even close.
So like I'm not saying they're not, professional athletes who shouldn't get paid as such, but like I think they do need to realize that they're in a sport that does not make as much money, so their salaries will have to reflect that. Not that they can't get paid well, but just that.
Yeah. I mean, they were getting paid well.
Yeah. And just that, you can't make as much as the Yankees do because nobody comes to your games as much.
Yeah.
That's a big thing is they need to say, okay, well, and kind of I think see it from the side of the owners too. Like, yeah, the owners is nice and everything, but they still need to make a profit too. They don't want to lose money every time they're doing this, otherwise it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point.
What about if you were the NHL, so the owners? How would you resolve it then? Or what would you do to resolve it from that side?
Compromise again.
Any ideas?
They have to find a way that they can, let's see, control the salaries. Because it sounded like there were some runaway salaries because they kept giving all bonuses all the time. So I think if they could find a way to control that, that would help the situation a little bit.
Another thought might be is, okay, cap their salaries, but put on the table also, okay, we'll provide you better health care. I mean, give them some other options to play with, because just paying out the money, the bonuses and everything else isn't keeping everybody happy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Okay. Well, to end up, does anyone know any gospel concepts that are kind of pertinent, or what we can kind of apply to the gospel as well from this case?
We shouldn't be greedy.
Yeah.
Well, I think it pretty much reflects the Book of Mormon, the pride cycle. I mean, they were so stubborn, kind of like the wickedness of the Nephites, that neither of them would budge, and they just fought and fought until it was hurting each other so bad that they had to come together to make it work.
Yeah.
After they'd both lost considerable. I mean, a whole season of income for both parties is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it can also help in like, so I mean, in quorums or wrestlers and stuff like that, and then also in our marriages or even with our kids, like we have to be able to realize we're not always going to get everything we want, and so we need to be able to negotiate well and kind of put our desires out on the table, but also be willing to sacrifice and kind of come to a compromise, so that way everybody can get within their
Yeah, dealing with the youth, there's a lot of negotiating that goes on. Teenagers especially.
My goodness. See, I'm in primary, so like all we have to negotiate with is if I have candy, I have all the cards. It's great.
You have the control.
Yeah.
Enjoy
it's a
it.
tyrannical in my primary classroom if I have candy.
That's too funny.
All right, guys. Well, this was a good meeting. Sorry for the crazy internet stuff. It said on the thing that it said, what happened next or whatever, or the rest of the story. Prior to meeting with your group, conduct research to learn what happens. So, because I didn't
They
know.
must have figured something out because they're still playing.
Yeah.
Yep. So apparently it worked out for the best. All right, guys. Well, I'll go ahead and stop this broadcast.